Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wet Shaving with Angelo. I'm Angelo, and today, no shave today because I shaved earlier this morning, but I wanted to share with you a little background history on myself on how I got started with the traditional wet shaving hobby. I was inspired to do this video when I saw Rich Hansen on his channel, Shaving with Rich, to talk about how he got started in the wet shaving hobby. So I'm going to do the same thing. In my teen years, I used to have a full-on beard, like a really thick, full facial beard. And it was like ungodly looking back at it. And I didn't start shaving till I was 18. And when I was 18, I started out with a Schick Quattro razor. Then, shortly afterwards, I got mailed it for free from my local ShopRite, at courtesy of Gillette, a Gillette Fusion razor. And back then, when I was 18, 19 years old, when I was mailed the Fusion razor, I was like, oh, cool. Free razor. I gotta try this out. Not realizing that Gillette mails out to every young man who turns 18 or 19 years old a free cartridge razor as a way to get new customers to buy their cartridges over and over and over again. So for a while, I shaved with the Fusion razor. But then one morning, I shaved with the really old Fusion cartridge on my razor. And, I mean, really old. Like, this was like at least over a month of use on it. And it was a bloodbath. Like, I was bleeding all over really badly. I actually had to go to my local Rite Aid, which was open 24 hours a day, just to buy a styptic pencil to stop the bleeding. And as I'm walking over there, I'm holding paper towels to my face to see if I can mop up the blood or whatever. It was really a bad situation. And so after the incident with the Gillette Fusion razor, I stopped using cartridges, but I didn't get into wet shaving yet. That wouldn't happen until a little way later. So after the Gillette Fusion incident, where I cut myself up real badly, I got into electric razors, and the big problem with electric razors, they do not shave close whatsoever. I'm serious. Like, I would shave with it in the morning, or whenever I would shave with the electric razor, then 2 hours then 2 hours later, I'd have a full-on 5 o'clock shadow. Like I may have mentioned in another video prior. If not, I should mention it right now. My facial hair grows very fast. So with an electric razor shave, I would have a 5 o'clock shadow 2 hours after I'd shaved with the electric razor. And looking back, I probably had a 5 o'clock shadow shaving with the Fusion as well. Anyways, fast forward a few years, in the year 2016, I've become a little bit curious about traditional methods of shaving. Actually, I started off, my first wet shave was with a shavette, which back then was a little bit foolish in itself because I had no idea about I didn't know much about blade pressure or blade angle or razor pressure and blade angle. All I knew is I wanted a closer shave. And it was a little bit of a bloodbath because I didn't know what I was doing with the shavette. But it sparked my interest in traditional wet shaving. So shortly after, in September 2016, I bought my first traditional wet shaving setup. And that included a puck of Van der Hagen Luxury Shave Soap, which I was able to get for free at my CVS because I had a $5 coupon. And back then, they were $5 a pop. Now, at my local ShopRite, I can pick up 2 of them for $5. So yeah, I used a Van der Hagen shave soap and I put it in an old coffee mug to build the lather. I bought a Marvies shave brush that I found at Sally Beauty Supply. It was a synthetic brush. Not as good as any of my other synthetic brushes. It was definitely, compared to my other brushes, it was definitely a major step down. But when you're just getting started, you're looking for anything locally. So I got that and I ordered on Amazon the Vikings blade, the Godfather razor, which I later on piffed that razor. But the Godfather razor by Vikings blade was my first razor of choice for double-edged safety razor shaving. And I also invested on Amazon at the time. This is September 2016. I invested in a multi-blade sample pack, or a sample pack of various packets of blades for me to try out to see what blades work best for me at that time. And I also bought, as I should go back to Side Beauty Supply, I bought a bottle of Pinot Clubman aftershave, which many of us, white shavers, we love the Pinot Clubman scent because it's the quintessential barbershop fragrance. So I waited a couple days for the razor and the blades to come in the mail. And I begin shaving, and I do pick up styptic pencils, since I knew I was trying a new way of shaving, and I was researching quite a bit, watching videos by guys like Geo Fatboy. Like, Geo Fatboy was really my first YouTube wet shaving video channel that I really followed closely, because I really appreciated that he had a no nonsense method of talking, doing like a straight talk about how the wet shaving method was. Like, there was nothing fancy about it. He would just tell you what the tools were, how to use them, how to wet shave. He would tell you don't use any pressure and learn proper blade angle. So I watched his videos and I did a lot of research on how to properly wet shave. And when I had my first shave with my double-edged razor, the Godfather Razor by Vikings blade, when I got started, I only did 2 passes, with the grain and across the grain. And actually, it was a very enjoyable shave, and that took me by surprise that a shave could be enjoyable. And this is way back in September 2016. That was like a surprising thing to me, that a shave could actually be enjoyable. And so I continued using the same setup for a while. Then I get on Christmas of 2016, my mom gets me an Edward London and Company twist to open razor with a badger brush and stand. And that was nice. And badger brushes were nice, but it wasn't as good as, like, I personally, I think the synthetic brushes are way better, for me at least, than the badger brushes are, or boar brushes. But that's just my personal preference. But as time goes on, I'm learning about different blades that work well on my razor at the time. And for a while, I stuck to Big Ben blades because I thought they were really good for me. Now I realize they were very mild blades, but I still use them when I put them when I'm shaving with a very aggressive razor. I'll use a Big Ben or a Shark Super Stainless. And in June of 2017, I discovered Voskhod blades. And as you know, Voskhod blades are my all-time favorite modern blade. Those blades give me the best shaves ever. They're like the perfectly in between of mildness and sharpness. They're like the Goldilocks blade, not too sharp, not too dull, just right. So that, and also that in June of 2017, I tried out Proraso shave soap, the red tub, the sandalwood scented one, and that was really good. And as time goes on, I'm trying out Proraso and other products, and late 2017, early 2018 is when I discovered the artisan movement in wet shaving products, and that's when I started investing in brands like Barrister Man and Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. Actually, my first PAA purchase was through Amazon at the time. It was their Gondolier shave soap, which I continue to love to this day. And who would have guessed at that time that I would have been shopping directly from the seller themselves, especially when I found out the prices from the artisans' websites were way cheaper than buying through Amazon itself, and way more enjoyable, because when I got on Phoenix's website, I was surprised to see how many lines of fragrances and soaps and aftershaves they had. So time goes on, and I'm getting into artisans. I'm getting into established brands of British, Italian, various international brands of shave soaps and aftershaves. And around 2018 really is when my wet shaving obsession becomes a hobby, a full-blown hobby. And I do not look back at it, and I never use cartridge razors. I do not use electric razors. There was a time I tried my hand at straight razor shaving with a traditional straight razor, and that was good. And it was like a cheapo straight razor, which was probably made overseas or something, but It was good. It got me started with straight razor shaving, but I eventually led myself back to double edge razor shaving because I learned I could get a way easier baby butt smooth shave with a DE razor than I could with the straight razor. As Matt Pisarcik said in one of his videos with Douglas Smythe on I'd Lather Be Shaving, you can get a really easy baby butt smooth shave with a DE razor, whereas with a straight razor, you better have several months of time invested in that razor before you even think about getting a baby butt smooth shave with it. So throughout the years, my obsession becomes more and more into this hobby, and you know what? I know we all joke around saying and yes, I'll admit, I didn't really save money on this hobby, but I've met a lot of great people. I've tried great products, and I do not regret this hobby whatsoever. I do not regret it. I'm very happy to have found a hobby that I can thoroughly enjoy, share with the rest of the world through YouTube and through the shave forums and Facebook groups. And my mother even says, what I did was I took a chore that I used to dread doing, and when I used to shave with the cartridge razors, I would shave at once every 2 or 3, maybe 4 days at a time. Now I shave every day, and if I have a nighttime event, I shave twice in one day. Once in the morning and once in the evening, just to touch up and keep up appearances while I'm out and about in the town. So yeah, that's roughly and as my mom was saying to me a while back, I took a chore that I used to, and many men used to dread doing day in, day out, or every couple of days you had to do it. I took a chore that I used to dread and turned it into a fun hobby that I love indulging in every day. This is one of the few hobbies that you can easily indulge in every day of the week if you wanted to. You can't go ATV riding every day of the week. You can't be cigar smoking every day of the week, or maybe you could, but with wet shaving, you can indulge in wet shaving every day of the week and continuously experiment with different combinations of razors, blades, soaps, brushes, aftershaves, etc., etc., etc. So that's just my story. I wanted to share it with everyone out there. I hope you're all having good days and good shaves. Have a good day. Have a good shave, everyone. Goodbye.